And thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Delco Duo here on PHL 17. I'm Monica crying.
And I am Jenna Meisner. So happy that you're with us. As always, we like to give a little refresher every now and again of what exactly the Delco Duo does. Because I feel like if you just turn this on for the first time, you might be wondering, what is this show?
It's just two talking people.
And if you watch every week, you might also still be wondering, what is this show?
What is the purpose? What is the purpose? So what we do is we take your issues that you submitted to us, some of our viewers, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and a lot of people emailing.
Right.
And then we give you some advice, like a Delco twist on advice.
Yep.
How we would handle something.
So if you remember Dear Abby, you write into the newspaper, then you get some, air your grievances.
Did you read those when you were younger?
No, I'm too young for that.
My mom used to read them to me all the time, and I always
know for sure my mom would remember it,
Yes.
but me, I don't remember it.
Oh, my mom used to read them to me all the time. A lot of it was, like about like weddings and stuff. I remember that was like the big one. Like, my mom won't do this.
So this has been your calling since you were a young lad.
It really is. Before we get to all your issues, let's get to the debrief. It is the Lenten season.
Yes, it is the Lenten season. So that kicked in on Ash Wednesday. So now we're not even a full week into Lent. But we always like to talk about, if you do celebrate, I guess, is it celebratory? If you
follow.
No,
wait.
If you observe.
Observe.
If you
That's
observe.
a good one.
I don't want to say celebrate. If you observe the Lenten season, sort of what you're giving up for the next 40 days leading up to Easter.
You're a very good Lenten observer. Every year you pick something and you really stick to it.
It's normally sweets, but
Yes.
this year, as I am pregnant, my mom always told me that if
Giving
you
up
are
alcohol.
pregnant, you're absolved from partaking
Absolutely.
in the giving up of things. Now, my husband thinks that is totally made up. He wants to see where it's written in the Bible.
He goes, where in the Bible?
And I said, well, you still have to give something up, but because I am with child,
Yeah.
I do not have to give anything up. But what do you think?
I've never heard about the entire 40 days of Lent that women don't have to give something up who were pregnant. But the Fridays during Lent,
No meat.
the no meat,
Right.
you do not have to. But you were saying it's kind of not that hard because you already don't partake in a lot of meat. So, and you're always good about giving up something. I'm more about doing something during the time of Lent, and I decided this year, because I'm doing the Broad Street, that it's about running. So I'm going to run twice a week, at most.
So you are going
At least.
train for the Broad Street, but
Yes.
claim that it is your Lenten sacrifice.
That is my Lenten sacrifice.
It's training for the Broad Street. Okay.
That's what I'm doing.
Some people take it as an opportunity to better themselves. If you New Year's resolution type-esque, and I don't think that's what it was rooted in, but it's unfortunate that that's kind of what it's turned into.
But you didn't like that because you heard someone say, it was on another
radio,
news program, that they were going to get healthier during Lent, and you're like, that's such a New Year's resolution.
It is a New Year's resolution. I think it's just a time where, you work a little bit more within charity, you try to give back.
But you're a traditionalist, you're like, you should give up something.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, my mom has always given up sweets, so I've just always followed. I'm like, okay, then me too. But
when I was younger,
it's hard.
I thought the 40 days was so long. I thought it was so long. I just remember
now Easter will be here before you know it.
Yeah.
So I was out and about in Delco on Wednesday, saw lots of ashes on foreheads. So, some of the big churches in Delco, they were popping.
And then we were talking about the appropriate amount of time to leave your ashes on because I had to shower. I got my ashes. I went for a run, got my ashes, and then I was home. I was like, I got to shower. I felt really bad. I think I had my ashes on for maybe a half hour.
There's no theory to this. I always think an hour.
An hour?
An hour is okay. I think, the Lord will forgive you. That's just, I don't know, because I'm the same way. I went later in the day, so I showered after, and
You're such a
my fate is sealed either
you're
way.
a good Catholic, but sometimes these rules that
I made that one up. I will fully admit that I made up that you only have to keep your ashes on for an hour.
1 hour.
I do not work in the clergy,
Pastor
obviously.
Jenna
All right, let's get to our first topic of the night. This is Gary from Glen Olden. My mom is dating my football coach. Uh-oh.
That's exciting, Gary.
Oh, you're okay with this?
You'll get some perks. Better make that coach play you.
I like that that's the angle that you're looking at this from. That's a positive outlook. But then all your teammates hate you because they're like, Gary's only playing because his mom's with the coach.
Oh my goodness.
I, as a teammate, would think that if all of a sudden, if Gary's the star player to start with, like he's the quarterback or, he's making all the plays, and then they start dating, I'm not bothered by it. But if Gary all of a sudden gets off the bench and his mom's dating the coach, then I'm having a problem with it.
Right. And did they meet through, I'm guessing they met because
it appears that way.
Coach.
I just think there are so many fish in the sea, and I know we always talk about
Jenna,
how hard it is to date and how it's much easier to date when you have mutual friends that you kind of are forced to be in a similar situation. So I can understand how, a football coach, you're at your son's practices, games, whatever. But just maybe for football season, just wait until it's over, or this kid's gonna be tortured. Everyone's gonna be like think of like Stacy's mom. I think of like Stacy's mom's got it going on. Like that's gonna be Gary's mom.
There is, but Gary, look at the long term. You got to see the long term. Your mom's happy. She found someone. Your coach is happy. He found someone. He or she found someone. But it's just the long term. Like this is just a little brief moment. Gary, I guarantee you're not going to the
Unless
NFL.
You're a freshman and you play and they're still together every season.
Yes, then in that case, it's long term. This isn't necessarily just about football. It's about a relationship that you're it's going to be your family.
It's just weird to think, because like when I think of a football coach, obviously we didn't play football in high school, but just from hearing, my husband and other friends who played football, like football coaches typically tend to be intense and hardcore, and just picture your coach coming over for dinner or like picking your mom up for a date. Like, doesn't that make you feel?
I'm sure it is.
You see them in a different light. That's probably really weird.
But just you got to get over it. A little bit of ribbing here and there from your teammates isn't a bad thing. It's okay as long as you are trying your hardest. And let's say maybe you can improve and show them up and be like, yeah, I deserve to be here. It's not just because my mom's dating the coach.
So Eugene grows up. You go through a divorce, and Eugene
or my husband's gone. He's out of the picture because something happened.
Jeez, that's much darker than divorce.
No, I think divorce.
Your husband died is what you're trying to say? Jeez. Oh my goodness.
I'm just trying to make this better.
You think Eugene's okay with you dating his coach?
He better be. His coach is good looking.
I'll check in about 10 to 12 years and see what's going on.
That scenario's not going to happen.
Oh, gosh. All right. Well, let us know what you think if you want to. Delco Duo at PHL17.com. Coming up, we have another great issue for you, and it has to do with babysitting. I know that you babysat growing up. I didn't as much, so we'll talk a little bit about the issue coming up.
And welcome back into the Delco Duo. Solved one issue. Now we're going to get to another one. We've got two issues and then one of our own. Let's see what we have. This is Nicole from Nether Providence. I called the cops on the parents I babysit for.
Okay, so that on the surface seems like what's going on. Is this an issue for Child Protective Services or what's happening? But Nicole says she wrote a little bit more to us, so appreciate that. The parents I babysat for said they would be home at 9 p.m., but weren't answering their phones as late as 11:30, so she got worried. She called the police, who then tracked them down at their friend's house, and the parents were really, really mad that she had called the cops on them.
Right, they were mad at her.
Yeah, they were mad at Nicole for calling the cops.
Okay, which, now you're in a lot of heat. The police are there, but Nicole, you did the right thing.
You think calling the cops?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's a long time. 2.5 hours later.
Yeah.
Something's
And
up.
to not respond at all.
Yeah, something's up.
If they responded and she just called the cops because they weren't coming home, okay, that's a separate issue.
Absolutely.
But she's worried about these people. Did they get in an accident that she doesn't know about?
Right.
Did something happen to one of them and now they're in the hospital?
Right, you need to be checking up on this.
Why would they not answer? As a parent, if you have a babysitter who's texting you, how long does it typically take you to answer them?
2 seconds. I'm always looking at my phone. It's like, that's actually another issue that I would say probably Eugene and I have. Eugene wants to constantly check in with the babysitter, and I'm like, no. We'll talk with them. But obviously we are constantly monitoring. Even when we're at like weddings and it's like really involved and we're dancing a lot, always on our phone. It's actually an issue. So I am sad for Nicole that this happened. I'm sure it was really, really scary for her. And those parents are irresponsible. Very irresponsible parents.
I'm just wondering what the friend's reaction is. Like when the cops roll up to your house, you're wondering what did these people do? like
oh
why?
my gosh.
And how did they track them down there? I guess maybe like a car description, or I mean, I doubt Nicole had their license plate,
maybe pinging from their cell phones or something. If she has their number, I don't know. It is crazy nowadays how you can track somebody. Like
Find My Friends, all the different apps. But I feel like
an hour,
as you said, today is very different from when you would babysit.
Right, and I also think, we have to take into consideration Nicole's age. They said they would be home by 9. Mm-hmm. That's, if she's one of those like junior drivers or whatever,
younger.
The curfew's 11?
Right.
So all of a sudden she has to be home before 11 or she could get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
That's not okay that at 11:30 you still can't get a hold of them.
I don't even know who else you would call. Like if I'm thinking I'm in Nicole's shoes, if you know the restaurant they went to, maybe call the restaurant. But a lot of restaurants are normally closing by then if there's no bar.
You shouldn't have to do that. I mean, they do still have to this day, the list of emergency contacts. Like you should have
on the fridge,
on the refrigerator, the list of emergency contacts. Actually, now that I think about it, we don't have that.
Okay.
So we've got a babysitter tonight. So
who's going to be your emergency contact? Your parents?
My parents.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then I've got my brother. I was just making sure
you weren't going to put me on the list.
Yes,
I'm not answering.
You many times have now told me that I am not. You are not my go-to person, which is wild.
I told you. I know I'm having a child in a couple of months, but I did not like babysitting growing up. Like it wasn't, all of my friends did it for money, and that was not something that I necessarily wanted to do. I don't know, maybe because I'm the baby of the family, I was always getting babysat, not doing the babysitting.
Yeah.
Like, you know how your older siblings, like you're the oldest, so like you watched your siblings, I'm sure.
I did. I watched them a little bit, and then I babysat a good amount, and I can't remember why I wanted to babysit because I'm not necessarily good at babysitting. I don't like love kids, and if the people that I babysat for are watching this because they were obviously all local people, I'm really sorry. I did a great job with your kids, but I just didn't love babysitting. But I think I just it just helped me get extra money. I wasn't good at many things. Like I shouldn't have been a waitress. I shouldn't have been a lifeguard.
These are all like make or break jobs though. Maybe not the waitress, but like being a lifeguard and being a babysitter. Like you have people's lives in your hands. I remember even though I didn't babysit often, I think I maybe babysat one or two times.
Yep.
I went to the local hospital and did like the full babysitter course. Like remember you could become certified.
Yes.
So like I was a certified babysitter. But it's something about, I'm always like a scaredy cat about everything. It's that moment when the kids are in bed and you're just in a really big house alone.
That you're not, yes.
I get nervous or scared, or I remember that, not liking that aspect of it.
I do think nowadays, like me and you were probably babysitting very young and responsible for a lot more than our age should have been responsible for. Nowadays, you're really... All the babysitters that we have are like
the real deal.
24 years old.
Well, now we have all the sites where you can go and like the mom groups, and I don't think that was really a thing when we were trying to, get into the babysitting game.
And then their resume, they put resumes up, and I love it. I'm like, this really helps me. So we're getting some real qualified babysitters up in here. So that's why, Nicole, you deserve better. That was not right of the parents to
Bring your talents elsewhere.
Yeah, don't babysit for them again.
I don't think they're going to bring her back either, though. Like I think it's a mutual break. So
good.
There's plenty of kids that need to watch and plenty of parents who want to go out. Mm-hmm. So you'll be fine.
Cool.
All right, coming up, we have one of our own issues for this week. Talked about two of yours. Now we're going to bring one of ours to the table. Make sure you stay with us.
And thanks for watching the Delco Duo live on PHL 17. But we also post each episode that we do on YouTube, on the PHL 17 YouTube, the web, phl17.com, and then
Spotify. Yeah.
I forgot about that.
So if you find this so riveting that you need to take it with you, you can find us on your phone.
Yes, on your phone, and you can listen in your car. It started off as a podcast.
It did. It grew into a television show. I don't know who approved it, but here we are. All right, let's get to the issue this week, one of our own.
Meisner needs an advisor. Okie dokie, what's going on?
Okay, so it's my turn this week. And I think we both, when we leave work, we do similar things. So I always give my mom a call every time I drive home from work. I think you do the same thing.
First, Eugene.
Okay.
Check up, how's everything, and then call my mom.
So I normally call my mom, and I do it in a spot of my drive where I have like 20 to 25 minutes left because you need to decompress.
That's the perfect amount of time.
Yes. You need to decompress from talking on the show all day, and I just need silence for a little bit. But then, I like to check in with my mom, see what's going on. So normally when I'm like 20 minutes from home, I'll call her. Every single morning that I call her, it lines up with her transition from the gym to Wawa. So at the time that I call her, it's maybe like 11:10, 11:15.
And her class, let me guess, is until 11.
So she's leaving the gym at this point and walking into Wawa. So sometimes I'll miss her or I'll be later and it'll be fine. But something she does that drives me nuts, and I know she's watching, is she answers the phone when she's walking into Wawa and says, "Oh, hey, Jen, I'm walking into Wawa." And I say, "Okay, that's fine. Like, if you want to grab your coffee and give me a call back after." She's like, no, it's fine. And then I, for the next 10 minutes, listen to all of her conversations. I listen to all of her conversations in Wawa, and I'm just sitting there in my car listening to her talk to the manager she loves, listening to her talk to the person by the coffee bar that she loves, and they're like, "Aren't you on the phone with your daughter?" And she's like, "Oh, yeah, she knows. She knows I'm in here."
But you need time to tell her all of the things, because a lot happens at work here. We've got a very busy newsroom, and there's always stuff to talk about. I think that's, and you want to get it all out.
And just my overall health. I mean, this is when we talk on the phone. Like, after this point, I'm going home, I'm having lunch, I'm taking a nap.
And to be fair to Jenna, if you don't know how Lynn goes about her Wawa run, it's not like my Wawa run is I get in, I get my coffee, I get out, I may say hi to one person. She knows everybody in that Wawa.
And then the manager gets mad because she's talking to me, and he's like, you're talking to me, like, this is our time to talk. So then she's like,
because they depend on her too.
Right. So like they look forward to her coming in and to having her conversations. So I can hear the manager saying, like, "Tell Jenna to hang up." And I'm like, I'm her daughter. I am her daughter, okay? Matt from Wawa. I will talk to my mother. I'm talking to you right into the camera. But does you ever do that where you're on the phone with someone and they have conversations with other people and you're just listening to them?
Yes, I have someone that does that to me all the time. But isn't like, it's never the same thing. It's always something different. They're like, making dinner, or they're...
Drives me nuts
because I can't do that. I can't really talk.
I'll just say, I'll call you back.
I'll call you back.
See, no, that's not my mom.
But your mom's busy a lot, though, I think.
Yeah, she's
You know what I mean?
busy,
so, like, when else is she going to talk to you? Like,
this is like the perfect time for us to talk. I'm driving home from work. She's in between whatever her day is. But it's just, I don't know if I should call later, but then we have less time to talk because, if I wait until after the Wawa run.
You do kind of wish she would just... Lynn, this is just a suggestion.
It's your daughter, not...
Just 5 minutes. 5 minutes sit in the car before you go into the Wawa. She's not going to do it. She's not going to do it.
A lot of the times I'll catch her after, and she'll be drinking her coffee in the car waiting for my call.
Oh.
Those are the good times.
So just do that.
I don't get interrupted by anyone, but...
Why doesn't she call you? You know what I mean? Like
that's a good question, but I feel like because I'm like... So not saying what she's doing is unimportant.
When she's done the Wawa run, she calls you.
I'm not saying what she's doing is unimportant, but I think she thinks, well, maybe I'm late at work or she's going to be...
Do your two other sisters talk to her every day on the phone? I know one lives with her.
No, not every single day.
So
well,
you're
also
the problem.
Tara's really busy. She has the 3 kids. They all have different activities. So my mom's just like, I'll just talk to Jenna all day. Right. Jenna doesn't have anything to do. No. So I think I probably call her the most.
Yeah.
But it's a problem, and I just sit there in my car and I'm like listening to everyone talking Wawa, and I feel like I'm in Wawa and I'm not there.
Well, half the time, I think the problem is and the person who does this to me all the time, I never know if they're talking to me or not. You know what I mean? She'll be talking to someone else, and I think she's talking to me. But no, she's got like 5 other people she's talking to. She's doing 18 different activities.
So what do you do? Sometimes I think about just hanging up, but then I don't.
This is what I do. I scroll through Instagram the whole time I'm talking.
Driving, so
I know you can't.
Instead of listening to the radio.
What I do. Oh, did you burn yourself? Oh, okay, all right. Like that's what I do.
Yeah.
Oh, did you burn yourself?
It's such a waste of conversation. It's like, this is why nobody calls anymore. Like, everyone texts, everyone just social media is like, I feel like
That's
calling
true.
is like an ancient art nowadays.
It is. Talking over the phone is definitely an ancient art. But
Yeah, so she'll always be like, oh, hi, Dan. Let me get my app out. Oh, yeah, I'm talking to Jen. And she tells everyone she's talking to me. I'm like, you're not talking to me because I'm sitting here listening to you talk to other people, but you're telling them you're talking to me.
This has been going on for years.
No, it's literally every day. It'll probably happen, on Monday morning when I'm driving
solution
home.
to it. My suggestion is she calls you when she's done the Wawa run.
Okay, maybe she's watching, so
Love you.
you can decide what you want to do, Mom.
Okay.
Oh, Delco trivia. That is coming up right now.
Okay.
I like this one.
This is a good one. My favorite food.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Where was Scrapple created?
And it's not Philadelphia, like as many people are always like, oh, it's Philly.
Oh, I'll tell you what I thought it was.
Okay, let's see.
Stay with us. So where was Scrapple created? I'm sure a lot of people have like ideas in their head.
And I think this is one of those things, again, a lot of our
Yes.
questions where everyone will argue differently. But for our purposes tonight, we are going to say Middletown Township, and we actually have some history in why that is the answer.
I love it.
So in 1863, going way back, Isaac S. Haberset opened Haberset Pork Products. That's Haberset.
Pork products.
Haberset Pork Products, try to say that 10 times fast, in Middletown Township, and that was the first company to mass produce Scrapple. So for a while, it's been a Philly thing. It's come from Philly.
Yep.
But I did find some history in this, that Middletown Township in Delco is actually the spot.
I actually wasn't thinking Philly. I always thought it started in Lancaster.
Just because there's a lot of cows and pigs.
Cows and pigs. And that's where they're like out in the farmlands.
So you just, okay, I understand the
Because
thought
you know what I mean?
process,
The whole point of Scrapple is it was like, as all of the other pork products were being made, this was the scraps.
The leftovers, yeah.
And you know what? It tastes so good.
I hate Scrapple so much, and I've had it because I feel like you have to have it, but
And you have to have Haberset.
It's not my
Haberset
thing.
is the best. The one time I really messed up, so my dad's like, oh, can you go to the store? My dad always gets the Scrapple for the weekend. Like, we would always have it every weekend. And he goes, oh, can you get to the store? So I come back, and I got beef Scrapple.
I did not. How did you even do that?
It's a different color. It's a blue.
I was gonna say because Scrapple's like gray. Like
well,
when
no,
you buy
it wasn't that color. Like the packaging was blue.
I
as
thought you meant like
opposed
the
to
actual. I was like, okay,
No.
if your Scrapple's blue,
And it tasted not as good. The pork Scrapple
Ugh.
is where it's at. It's so good. But I thought it was Lancaster. I can't believe it's Delco, and that's
I mean,
why
I'm sure
it's
we're
a
gonna have
favorite.
people write in and say, you guys are wrong, but we like to converse with you, so fight us on it.
Yeah, seriously, we're really good at arguing.
Delco Duo at phl17.com. That is the best way to reach us if you do want to talk a little bit, and of course, submit your issues on social media.
Maybe we should get a hotline, like a 1-800 number.
Oh, like a burner phone?